Hello everybody to lesson 33 of HTML Deep Understanding course. This lesson and form in HTML we learn form element. So let's start and know what we will know. Okay, first of all we have that was of the previous lesson. We learned how to create a form in HTML, which is form tag, and the content goes here, the form. So today we'll start and know what are the elements of the HTML form element. So first of all we have the input, select input. So we have learned that input could have a type. So here in this type we'll have something called we either have submit, text, URL, color, response number, but we have here another element which is select. That select could have many options that we could add it. So let's go and see how we could add the elements in select. First of all, select has the name. Okay, if you have in the input, if there is no name for the input, it will not be sent. So it should be, you should add the name. For example, select, we say HTML selection. Okay, or we could say programming language. Programming languages. Okay, so that was about the name. Then we have something called the option, which is the content of the select. So we have here option, the closing tag. In the option we have the value, which we will add it here, and we will say, for example, HTML or C++. Okay, the value, the content which would be printed is written here. For example, if you need to write C++ language, it could be printed in the website. For example, language, that thing will be printed. Look, that was printed here, but the C++ is the thing that we will send to the database or to the server. So let's keep it the same and duplicate that thing. We have here, for example, C is a programming language. You have here C#. Okay, C#. We have something called Kotlin, which is an Android. Also we have something called JavaScript, Java. We have also Python. For example, just an example. Okay, save. Now when we refresh, we'll say the following. C++ is there, and you have the other languages. This is the selection input, or the select input tag. So in the select, what is the first selected element? It's the first, which is C++ here. In our case, it's the first, which is C++ tag, C++ element. Imagine that I need the Kotlin to be selected. I could add here an element called selected, save, and by default, the default is the first, but if you change it and choose select to be selected, you will refresh and see. Sorry, we should refresh that website from here. Look, the selected element is Kotlin. So how is that? That because we have added selected to the Kotlin element. Great. Imagine that I need to send that element, and wait, for example, we have another point, which is the size. Imagine that I need to have 3 elements in front of the user. So I could decide the size and say 3, means show 3 elements. Okay, refresh. There's 3 elements from the previous one, which is Kotlin. The first one is Kotlin, and we have 3 after the selected element. Okay, that was about the size. Imagine that I need to select multiple choice or multiple option. For example, here you could only choose one and only one choice. Imagine that you want to choose multiple. You need to choose, for example, more than one language. You could add here some attribute called multiple, means multiple selecting. Refresh the website, then see we have here multiple. You could just click Ctrl and control and the selection and click. Okay, so refresh. You could for example, I will refresh the website. For example, I will select C and I'm clicking now Ctrl. Okay, so when you press Ctrl and you click the selection, right, left of your mouse, and for example Python, I'm clicking press Ctrl and click that thing, so I'm selecting that things, which is C++, C and C#, Kotlin and Python. It's great. So we have another option, which is the number of visible options, which is we have learned, which is 3. Imagine that I have decided to put more than the number we have, for example 10. Okay, so save it. What will be? It will show all the elements and an empty for the rest of the elements. Okay, so this was about the select tag. The second one we will talk about, let's roll back to 3. The second one we will talk about another element, which is text area. You have seen when you need to send a message to someone on our website, you should insert the message in a large place. That place is called text area. How we write it? We write text area, then close it, then go ahead. Here in the text area, you name it as we understand. For example, I will say the message or anything, you could write it. Then you could define the number of rows. Let's save it and go to the browser to see what we have. That was the message. Okay, so it's like that, but you could say that it's small. You could control its size with the row. Number of rows, it could be as you need. For example, in our case, we will type 10. The columns, in our case, for example, you could define it 40. And let's refresh and see what we have. That was the our message. Okay, it's great. You could write the content here also. Need it to be print inside the text area. Okay, save. Then we have that. What about the text area, which we use it to save a large amount of text or big text. Then we have the button. Okay, here we have something called button. The button is shown, or you could name it. It's used. The main using of button is for an action. Okay, imagine that you need to print a message to a user when he click the button. So we could name it whatever you want to name it, and put here the name of, for example, click. Save. Let's see what you have. Click. So when he click, there's a message will be programmed with JavaScript or with PHP as we want. In the future, we'll know the JavaScript too. So we are planning to teach many things that could help you to do your business, to do the websites or your project from zero to the end with perfectly options. And we will do that in our channel. Just follow us and everything will be great. Okay, that was about the button. The second one, which is the last elements here, we have an element code which is added in HTML5 only. HTML4 and previous versions it wasn't exist. So HTML5 we have something called data list. So data list could be printed like that, and inside the data list we could have many options. For example, we could have the first of all, we have the list here, input, and the name, we could name it any name. I'll call it, for example, data list, no problem. Then we have here something called list. Okay, the list, we call it, for example, list name, any name that we will put it here. Here we should put a name, I'm sorry, an ID. The ID should be the same as this one, so we'll save, copy and paste it here. So now we say to this input, you are a list. Yes, we should type, this is a data list, the name, the list of that data list. So we have here data list, and it has an ID, which is list name, and the list name ID, we use it with the input. So then we have the options. I will show you the difference between the select and the data list. Here we have options. Let's take the options that we have there. C, Ctrl V, and that was it. Let's save it and go to see what we have. Refresh. That was it. So what is the difference? Let's roll back and see. Delete that text area just to ensure, and put break line or horizontal. Okay, and then here, I mean, the size no need, the multiple no need. Okay, save and reload. Okay, here we have here, which is the selection. Let's put here select. Select here is list, data list. Save, go back, refresh. So this is the select. So we have here something that we select from. Here data list means we have some helping or autocomplete. For example, if I write C, it will be C++, C, C#. If I write key, Kotlin. If I write O, it will be Kotlin, Python. If I write plus, C++. So it could help you when you write a little, the first character, it will show you the rest of that character. Okay, if you write, for example, K, it will, or O, it will show you the matched spelling of that letter. Or for example, this is used for that purpose. If you need the user to help the user when he select, for example, a city or something, and when he enter a letter, you need to help him or her to select the suitable thing for him. So you use the data list, and you should focus that data list is only supported with HTML5. So in some browsers it will not work, but it will not harm your web page. So it only supported with HTML5 version. In HTML4 and the old versions, it doesn't support it. So that was the lesson for this day, and see you in the next. Bye.